Hello, welcome to FreeFX. I'm Francesco. Today is Monday, the 11th of July 2022. Welcome to my channel. This is video 111. I can't believe it's actually already video 111 since I started, and we have a very interesting week ahead of us. So let's dive right in. So the first thing I'm going to talk about is the S&P 500 weekly chart. You can see here lots of things happening. We have essentially this black line that I put in a few days ago, and just to kind of show on the weekly how we kind of met resistance at this level, which is 3906. Now I don't tend to go for these very specific levels, so let's call it 3900, but it's not really important as a number. Visually you can see that there's obviously some kind of price action clustering on that. We had 5 weeks now, this is week 5 of being around those prices, and we don't seem to make much progress. However, today has been a bearish kind of start to the week, so we seem to be moving away from it once again, although it's early in the week. We need to see what happens later in the week. So in terms of what we have on the chart, as I said the other day, the CCI has bounced off 200 negative, but that's not to say that it won't bounce again. It won't continue lower. It's not really a guarantee of a bounce. So if we look at the 2008 financial crisis that I've shown you before, that also means we can go beyond that, as you can see in the 2020 pandemic lows and the 2018 to 19, we touched on that, but the main one is the 2008, because we certainly made progress well beyond that. So if you want to have a real contender, it's the 2008 financial crisis, because that's really where you can see price continue lower, although the CCI minus 200 is reached and tested several times before price moves away, and we know that that took a lot of time to turn around. So I'm not really skeptical about this continuing lower, and so I'm just going to break it down into a lower time frame. Let's have a look at the daily chart. This is kind of the price action today. Quite restrained. I'm going to go into the ATR in a second, but if you look at the Bollinger Bands, they are starting to shrink again, converging, and we're going to look at my preferred time frame, the 4-hour. This gives us an idea. So we had the top here on the 7th of July, and then moving away from the 200, you can see that we are below zero. So we have finally made the break again below the middle line on the Bollinger Bands, and also below the 21 weighted moving average. Today decisively went back below these and started making progress, and then we met this sort of indecisive market, really, with a sort of doji, really. That's where we are at. Now in 5 minutes the markets will open again. We've had this hour between 10 and 11 UK time. We're going to have the Asian session, so this might start moving again. The Asian markets haven't done too well today. We've had quite a bad start to the week. We have something happening Wednesday, which is the CPI figures, as you can see. That's what we've got. Lots of really important measures of whether the Fed tools in the implemented rate hikes is starting to work into the system, whether we are going to see the inflation figures cooling down. So if these measures are working. But then John Kicklighter, that I've mentioned before, put out this tweet today. Why is the White House press secretary saying this? And the quote is, "Expect new CPI data to be highly elevated." Okay, so that's there's also another thing as well that I saw earlier today, which is let me see if I can bring out the right quote for you. It's to do with the Asian markets, and as I said, in very shortly we're going to have the Asian markets opening. And Aisha Tariq has put out this tweet this evening, if I can find it. It's basically showing the Asian markets today have performed pretty badly, and I'm just going to show you the chart of them if you can find it. But anyway, here they are. So we've got Nikkei slightly up, the Hang Seng down 3.1%. You can see the Asian ASX down 1.14%, and these are the ones I actually don't know what they are, but Asian markets are not looking great this morning. That's the summary. So it'll be interesting Asian session to see what happens with that. And let's go back to the S&P, because I'm going to have a look at the S&P 500 again, And if I wanted to come out of this and introduce instead of CCI, two things I mentioned, the ATR, but you can see that we're struggling, so it's not really difficult to imagine why. But for the ATR, then change that's a 14 default. I tend to use a 21, and so I stick everything to 21. You can kind of object to that or not. Some of this RMA is better than SMA, and you can different sort of setups on Trinity. But so that's the 21 period ATR on the 4 hour. You can see that we are very, 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 very low, and sort of in context you can see we are kind of reached these lows here of early June, where we came just before this tumble, and then it picked up a lot. Yeah, so we kind of like the quiet before the storm, you could say. The other thing to do obviously is check the daily, because that's really what we want to see, kind of broad context. So that's kind of where we are. We are at the level that we saw back here early May, okay, before this kind of leg down. So so a bit weak in terms of price action and actualized volatility. And but let's kind of take this indicator out for a second, because what I want to do is I want to add advanced decline line. So this is a breadth indicator. So stocks going up, stocks coming down, and this is sort of the overall result. Is calculating how many issues up on the day and down on the day, and the resulting calculation is the advanced. Now the actual calculation is this, if you really want to know, on Investopedia. So the formula is advanced divided by decline equals net advances plus price action if price action value exists, etc. So net advances, or sorry, previous advances, BA. So subtract the number of stocks that finish lower on the day from the number of stocks that finish higher on the day. This is the net advances, and so on. So just kind of as a concept, sort of this is what it does. Okay, so the advanced decline line is this. Now the settings are pretty much defined, so we can't really change them. And if you on the daily go back, you can see that the best part of this was in November 2021, and then since the start of the year we've been in constant decline. Now the decline is not a straight line obviously, but it's slight halt at the moment. If I wanted to know more about this, because obviously breadth indicators are all very good, the index is obviously a summary of the price action of all the different component stocks. If I wanted to really know, I'd have to go into something like this. So I googled, I went to bar chart, which I mentioned in my previous video on Friday. That was about the Committee of Traders report. This is not the COT report, this is the actual S&P 500 components. So I went into that, and I ordered them, put them in order by change, rate of change percentage. And so the best one is at the top, CBOE Global Markets, Chicago Board of Exchange. And then if we go further, so it's not great really on the day, it's only up 2.3%. Okay, fair enough. Now very quickly we go into 0%, 0 point something, and then I've got a long way to go here. They're not numbered, but very quickly we go into very small advances. Okay, and then very quickly unchanged we go into negatives. Now the negatives start here, and basically they run all the way to the bottom. So the majority of stocks are in a bad place today. And if I look at the worst performer today, on the day, it's Twitter with minus 11%. That's just Twitter today. Okay. And we've got some pretty meaty numbers, not far behind. So if we look at, I think Metaverse is up there. And then we've got Nvidia, Netflix is minus 5%. What else we got? Paramount minus 5 as well. And Amazon is minus 3. Alphabet, just spotted it, is minus 3. So yeah, they're not doing great, these stocks really. So if you want to have an actual data chart like that, go to bar chart and have a look at the component stocks for S&P 500. Now just to finish, that's kind of where we are. So I'm short, as I said, short, have been for a few days now. and holding short. Price action has been good today. I'm going to break it down even further. If you go to the 1 hour, see where we are. Okay, now the Asian session just started now, so that's kind of the start there, and it's looking bearish, but it's just the start of it, so we don't know. That's the breadth indicator there on the day. So so that was end of last week, and today's been on the hourly, just poof, right down. So I'll just take that out and put the original one back on. That would be the CCI, so just put that back on. Alright, so just saying about the price action on the day. So we've got that's the 1 weekly that we were looking at before, and I'll take it back to the 4 hour. Okay, and there's your CCI there. So as you can see, right decline through here and looking for more declines. So we might be in a situation that we were in at the end of June, where we went through and then declined further. Hopefully we'll see a bit more price action. It's quite a bit more condensed. In fact, if we measured this move that we had, so let's shift and click down to here, that was registered as 4.5%, and if we go from the top here, I mean, this is a very rough calculation, we've only moved 1.2%, so very, very small move compared to what we had. That was a longer time period, but even so, you know, it's several candles in and we haven't really moved much. So well, we'll see how it's not a like-for-like comparison. We'll see what happens on the day. So as I said, let's go to the 5-minute final breakdown. This is just us starting here. Nice little move, and hopefully we'll see a bit more development there through the rest of the Asian session. So looking forward to the rest of the week. I will be back on the Friday for my next video. So I want to know if you have any questions or leave any comments. I'd like to hear from you, and if not, good luck trading out there. Just bear in mind all the calendar appointments that I highlighted on Friday. Lots of things happening this week, so keep an eye on things for the foreseeable, and I hope you're trading successful, and see you on Friday. Take care. Bye.